welcome to the show. We at Trucking Life welcome you all. Now, pull that rig over, hit the head, grab a drink and snack, settle in, and let's get this show on the road. And now, your host.
Hello. Oh my gosh, this is so different sitting on this side of the screen. I'm just going to tell you right now. So, for those of you who are out there, if you could give me a quick audio video check, can you hear me? I hijacked Jed's workstation. So, our behind the scenes audio video production is running by me today. I don't even know how that's going to work out. But can you hear me through Jed's cool headset? Can everybody hear me? Hi, Lance. Good evening. Wednesday night with Trucking Life. Awesome. I'm working both. I know it's crazy. I don't even know how this is going to go. Hi, Amber. Hi, guys. So welcome. Wednesday nights with Trucking Life, you guys. Hi, Ed. Thank you for the thumbs up. I gave Jed the night off, hijacked his station, and I'm just hanging out here. I'm not gonna lie. I got like little notes over here. I'm seeing all of your chats coming through. I'm so excited. It's just kind of funny. So I am home, obviously. I've hijacked Jed's station in my home. And Johnny and we've been home since Friday. And we are home for a whole nother week and a half, you guys. I can't even believe it. We're home till like the 17th. It's the craziest thing. We haven't been on this much time off together at home, and I don't know when. But it's working out great. Johnny and I are home. We are getting things done that we needed to, doctor appointments, those kinds of things, and enjoying it. We're just hanging out with family, getting our stuff done, and loving life right now. So that's the update in the Rogers household. We got a full household. They're out there cooking dinner right now. I can smell the chicken. They're doing sauteed zucchini and mushrooms and onions, and I can smell it all cooking. So I'm going to eat dinner when we're all done chit-chatting tonight. Hi, TG Granny. How are you, beautiful? Love you. Hi, Celinda. Hi, Lance. Hi, Chad. Hi, Amber. You know what, guys? We are doing great. We're doing great over here. Tonight is just going to be a short and sweet show. Like I said, I wanted to give Jed the night off and just hijack his station, see what all this is about. Like, you should see the station, and just visit on a couple topics and kind of just have some conversation. And I did a couple things, just spur of the moment, that I'll throw at you here in a little bit too. We'll try that out. But that's where we're at. There's no co-hosts. There's no guests on the show today. You're stuck with me. Plain and simple. Stuck with me. So I hope you went to the bathroom. I hope you grabbed a drink. I hope you grabbed a snack, or you're full from dinner. And let's just visit. So lots going on, right? 1,800 miles on your brand new truck and it's broke down. TJ Granny. That sucks. Just saying. Tonight I want to talk about just crazy stuff, right? And it comes from several different places in my heart and my mind. Obviously, the big topic in the industry has been turbulent times. Freight rates, diesel prices. That's been a huge topic of conversation for the last several weeks. And it doesn't look like it's letting up anytime soon. And so that's a constant conversation. I want to touch on that just a little bit tonight, just because it's something that's affecting a lot of people. And the farther that we go down this road of having to pay higher fuel prices, taking freight at lower freight rates, and that margin, of profit narrowing so severely for some folks, for some companies and some independent owner operators. As we go down that road farther and farther is when it becomes an issue of how long they can hang on. Obviously, that's logistics. But Lance, you're home till Monday, then off to Monday, then off to Arizona. Awesome, Dutch. That's awesome. Congratulations, Dutch. His TikTok is over 1,000 followers. You know, the thing I love about social media, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, is that we have an opportunity to use our platform, discuss things, show our view through the windshield, which is what we do here at Trucking Life. And there are so many people that just thrive in this specific influencer seat and love showing their lifestyle to people. But then also there's so many people that want to see it. There are so many people who don't get the opportunity to travel the world like we do, even if it is for work. Johnny and I, you guys all know, we're half there, half not. We're half retirement, half working. I mean, we enjoy it way too much to really call it a full-time work and a full-time job. So Johnny and I specifically, people sometimes live vicariously through our experiences because we're constantly like, oh, let's go see that. Oh, let's go over here, and that's just the way it is. But even when we are, nose to the grindstone, there are people who love to escape their daytime reality by living through ours. And so Dutch, congratulations. I'm excited that is your niche over there on TikTok, that you're getting tons of followers. Schneider just bought DeBoer. Interesting. Hello, Kay. And I don't know who the Facebook user is. It said, hi, how are you doing, beautiful lady? Thank you very much. Doing wonderful. So here at Trucking Life, part of the reason that we do these live shows, is to say hi, connect with our public, connect with our viewers, and spread industry information. So obviously, tonight, one of the things I want to talk about is FreightWaves put out a report over the weekend that diesel, this was predicted, is at an all-time high at $5.32 a gallon average. Obviously, that's not the highest, California. That's just the average throughout the entire country. So, and that's a 24-cent hike. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah, we could break that down all day. But hi, Cindy. Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, so Lance, let me give you an example. My fuel receipt, and I might have a picture on my phone that I can read it to you guys real quick. I'll see. The fuel receipt that I had from last week, you guys, was $1,100. I think it was 197 gallons, and it was $1,143. So that was one fill up in the week. We had two. So when you calculate that and you think about the price that we're making on the runs for that week, we've got to automatically deduct over $2,000 in fuel, just that with that expense alone. And freight rates, depending on what you're hauling, they I don't even know what the average is right now. I have not looked up that information because we haul specialty freight. And so our average is a little bit higher. And we are also, what's keeping Johnny and I in the business, and I'm not going to lie, you guys, we're very grateful, is that we haul specialized that comes with a fuel surcharge. So we're making 60 cents plus a mile fuel surcharge on every load we take right now. So that is saving our bacon. That is saving the situation. There are so many companies, so many independent owner operators who are hauling freight that does not pay a fuel surcharge, and they're going to run into a different situation altogether. That's for sure. But I don't want to, be all Debbie Downer during this show. I wanted to touch on that because it is something going on in the industry. Now, what I do want to say when it comes to that situation is we've got to write it out. You know what I mean? We can sit here and complain all we want to about the fuel prices. We can sit here and complain all we want to about the freight rates. Obviously, when it's time to go to the polls, it's time to go to the polls. That's where we make some educated decisions and try to make change. Obviously, we keep in contact with the lobbyists, the legislators who make the laws, the people who are affecting the rates in the industry or in the country in general when it comes to our current economy. So This time, I feel like personally, creates a lot of anxiety for people. And that's one of the things I kind of want to touch on tonight is we're coming, and I don't want to say coming off COVID because it just keeps going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. Where it's never ending. And so the anxiety and the issues, the economic issues and the inflation issues that came from being locked down, from that whole situation, have been determined, and we're seeing a lot with different people right now, that it's affecting mental health in a huge way. And I know, there's so many out there that have their own stories, they have their own situations. I would love to hear from somebody. I would love to hear from you guys. If there is a way that this whole situation, whether it is the current diesel prices and economy, and freight rates, how they're affecting you, your family, your business, I'd love to hear from you. If there is, if you're not a truck driver or in the trucking industry, but you've noticed that your grocery bill has gone up 30%. And so now you're making decisions between food and medication. I want to hear from you. The reason I say that is I actually had a guy message me about that situation for him and his family. I want to hear from you. So with that, let me tell you what I did. Everybody's going to be like, what the hell? So I set up a phone number that you can text me directly. Okay. If you want to be on phone with me, I will take a couple random calls. Not going to talk to everybody. Don't be calling me, Pat. Pat, you have my number. But I am going to give you guys a random number that I put together tonight, so that you can call in or text me directly and tell me your story. And let's talk about it for a minute. I'm going to, okay. So see, here I am running Jed's thing. So I got to figure out how to do all the things. So watch. Oh, look at that. So call me or text me if you are currently affected by the prices of fuel, the prices of groceries, or mental health. If this is affecting you in some way, I want to hear your story. Call me real quick. Let's talk for a few minutes. And I'm going to put you on speakerphone. I don't know how that will work, if they'll hear you through the microphone. If not, I'll reiterate, because I'm just playing tonight. I'm holding you guys hostage. That's how this is going tonight. You guys are going to come on here. We're going to have these conversations, and I'm going to just hold you hostage doing whatever I do with all Jed's little clicky things. So if you want to call me, if you want to text me, that's the number to call. I got to pull up the little thingy so I know that you're calling. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there it is. So you can call or text if you'd like to share your story. The gentleman that texted me privately, he is in a situation where he's having to choose food for himself or food for his family. So he's a trucker, he's on the road, and he doesn't have enough for both. He's not making enough money. I'm not positive if he is a company driver or an owner operator, but he's not making enough money for both. I think he's an owner operator. And so he is down to one meal a day for himself, so that his family can eat at home. And why do we live in that world? Why do we live in that world, guys? There are while I'm waiting to see if any of you, Pat, you can call if you want to, but I'm just saying. Anyway, while I'm waiting to see if there's any of you that have conversations that you'd like to have, why do we live in a world? Not why. Because we live in a world where so much craziness is happening right now. One of the things I want to touch on tonight, and I shared a video earlier, and I don't know if some of you saw this video that I shared, and it was basically surviving turbulent times in the trucking industry. And it was What the Truck. Those guys are pretty funny. Anyway, they kind of touched on some of these topics. And one of the things that they were talking about is different ways that you can survive the trucking industry, or what it's going to take. Now, what I want to talk about tonight is that obviously there are ways that you can survive and thrive during turbulent situations. And we'll go over some basics that apply to life and to trucking. But when it comes to the trucking industry specifically, what's our tolerance level for each other? You know what I mean? Life is crazy enough for everybody right now. Whether it's COVID, sickness, trucking industry issues, family issues, personal issues, life is nuts. Why or how? Why are we being crazy and cranky? How do we be more tolerant? Oh, there he is. Hold on. Hold on. I got to figure out. I got to work it. Okay. I got to figure out how to work it. Can you hear me?
All right, now I'm connected.
Can you hear me now?
Wow, I feel honored. I'm your first call-in guest.
Talk to me, Patrick.
Oh, I mean, this fuel thing's getting out of control.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, right now, we're out here full week, and we're making as much as a company driver is after everything's paid.
And I'm not going to lie, that's what it boils down to for a lot of owner operators is that the pay that they're used to is just not normal anymore. That's just not the current norm for sure. So on a personal level, you know, are there specific things that you guys have had to implement to compensate?
Stay out longer than we want.
Okay.
That's one of the key things. I guess we started in April and we didn't go home till a week ago. Well, a week and a half ago. So we stayed out almost 2 months before we went home. And that was, you know, just to be able to get all our bills paid and have a little bit, you know, in the bank to where you can survive. And here's the thing. The previous company that I worked for, if I was making $10,000 revenues on a consistent basis weekly like I'm doing here, I would walk home with a $4,000 paycheck every week after everything was paid. Okay?
Okay.
$10,000 revenues here a week, you're lucky if you walk away with $1,700.
So there are a lot of things that are cutting into that, obviously, probably. But fuel rates being the biggest.
Well, yeah, fuel's the biggest. And you know, it boggles my mind because 3 years ago, we weren't in this problem. We didn't have this problem 3 years ago.
Right.
And I don't know about the rest of the truck drivers out there, but I haven't stopped working. Even during COVID. I was running.
Right.
You know, fuel prices, the cheapest I got it during the COVID shutdown was in Houston at the Flying J for 99 cents a gallon.
And that was a special, wasn't it? It was just like a special sale.
No, it was the Flying J. It was 99 cents a gallon.
Was
I didn't pay over $1.25 a gallon during the COVID shutdown.
So during COVID, Johnny and I ran the whole time too. And so, yeah, I understand that completely that, you know, most of the trucking industry did not shut down. They kept running regardless of what was happening. Absolutely. Can you guys hear, just out of curiosity, can you guys hear Pat talking on my phone where it's close to the microphone, or are you not hearing his side of the conversation? I'm just curious, just so that I know for future reference. I'm just looking to see what everybody.
Yeah.
She can hear you? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she can hear me. Yeah. So.
See, and I have the ability when I steal Jed's setup next time, I can do it without the headset. And it's, oh, that's awesome. Okay. Loud and clear. Okay. So awesome. Well,
I hate to get political, you know, about it, but
right.
I mean, you know, regardless of what you feel about the election,
right.
I cannot believe that even Democrat voters or voters in general that voted for Biden,
right,
that this is what they voted for.
I don't think they did. I mean, I'll be honest.
They can sit there with a straight face and look at face and go, yes, this is what we voted for. This is what we expected. Because even Democrats will tell you, we can't blame this on Trump.
So
we can't do it.
Right. And I really don't want to go down a political rabbit hole. You know my opinion, my feelings.
Right.
And
Right.
here's my situation is that it's ugly and it's going to stay ugly and it's going to get uglier than it is now. Possibly. I mean, that's a very possible reality.
It could all be done with a stroke of a pen. Would bring down fuel prices by at least $2.50 a gallon by a week's end. It's just open up drilling again.
Open up drilling. Right.
You open up the drilling again, and they say, "Oh, well, there's permits out there." Well, these companies don't want to use permits. They try to blame the oil companies. You can't sit there and blame the oil companies because a lot of them lost their rear ends during COVID.
Right. Right.
And they're not drilling. These oil companies aren't drilling. Yeah, they're making record profits, but you don't know what their overhead is either.
Right.
Well,
yeah, and you're not wrong. There's a lot of different things I think need to happen, to affect change in the industry that we're seeing right now. What I want to talk about more than anything is that how do we survive? And I'm just going to say right now tonight, I don't give two shits about which president is at fault. What I want to know is what us, the little people, got to do to get through it. While they play political tug of war, I want to know what we do to get through it. That's where I'm at.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, we can't. Of course, right now we can't do our, quote unquote little strike thing.
Right.
That would just be financial suicide on everybody.
Right.
Pocket. But what we can demand is, the only way to get through this is at in the voting block. You got to vote.
And I think that
vote for change.
I think that a lot of people are feeling that now. I think that it's hitting close to home for so many people that it's going to wake up a lot of people. People who have had their heads in the sand for so long, thinking it's just going to be what it is. It's hitting them at the checkout right now. It's hitting them at the fuel, tank right now. And
us to go every week when I go shopping at Walmart. Before all this, we would maybe spend $150, $75 to $125, I would say,
right,
on a week's worth of groceries. That was plenty for us,
right?
But now it's close to $300 for the same stuff. Same stuff. That's an extra $300 a week, and I it's boggling my mind what and I hate to say lower class, but the poorer population out there.
People who are a lower income or on a fixed income, absolutely.
Yeah, that the ones that are pretty much paycheck to paycheck, even worse than what we are.
Right.
The ones that how are these people paying their car insurance?
Paying
tags. How are they paying their taxes?
Right. And I'm just gonna go out on a limb here right now that during times like this, normally when you have a recession, when you have a depression, or you're headed in that direction, or you've got really high inflation, things have to give. I just told you guys a story about a gentleman who he's having to decide how many meals he eats a day because he's got to feed his family.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that right there, is he an owner operator or company driver?
I can't remember his story fully. I've got to look back at our post, but I think he's a owner operator.
Well, if he's an owner operator, then he needs to go to a different company.
Right. Right.
Because yes, we're not making what we should be making.
Right.
But we're making enough to actually pay our bills and, almost, I would say, break even.
Right.
But
and
if you're to the point to where you can't feed yourself and you got to make that choice, hey, I'm going to have one meal a day.
Right.
You're doing something wrong.
Well, and that's an opinion for sure. In my opinion, there are companies out there that you're going to make better money through, obviously, than others.
Right.
There's a whole trucking situation there. You've got brokers who take a higher percentage. You've got all the different things,
Yeah, I got
but
companies like my company. It's weird how they take their pay.
but let's talk about people who are not in the trucking industry who are on a fixed income and they are used to paying a specific amount of money for their groceries every week, and that's gone up. And does anybody, Ed, do you by chance know the inflation rate as far as groceries, like produce and those type of?
Well, I know from what I've heard that groceries are up.
Hi, Giggler.
I think 30%.
I want to say, for personally, it feels like it's between 25 and 30% is what I feel like I'm
Yeah, I
paying
think the
more.
last I heard was like 30%. I think that was last week that I heard on the news somewhere where it was 30% for groceries and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's
Which, I mean, even 10% with a lot of these people, especially people on Social Security, disability, stuff like that. And if the government's not giving a cost of living increase, I mean, even 10% can make it to where people are damn near starving.
right. Right.
Something has to happen. This nonsense of you know um, political policies that everybody knows is hurting.
Right.
Hurting the economy. It's got to stop. I
Right.
get it. Hey, you want to go to green energy? I get that. Hey, you want to save the environment? I'm all for that. But at what cost?
Well, and in my opinion, that's a long-term, and I definitely think that we need to be working on long-term results. Okay, so I'm not saying that. That's a long-term result. I want to know what's in the column of short-term. What's going to fix it right now? What's going to make it so that people can afford their groceries and their medication? Or they're not choosing,
Well,
you know what, I got to drop my car insurance because I can't pay all my bills this month.
right.
Or,
I can't renew my driver's license because
right.
I can't afford that, or I can't pay my state tax because of that, or I will tell you something interesting, and Heather actually found this, that the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban,
Yeah, Mark.
He is actually going to war against the Big Pharma.
Big Pharma. I saw that. Yeah.
And he has started his own pharmaceutical company to where all he's doing is a 15% market markup. Okay. Take for instance, I think there's a leukemia drug out there that costs $10,000 or something like that, and he's selling it for $40.
Wow. Well, good for him.
Going after big pharma and because people can't afford their medications that keep them alive.
And that's a big deal.
Look at diabetic things. I mean, and during the last administration, they made it to where it was like $25 or $35 for diabetic medication, insulin, stuff like that. And that should be, if you can do that for 4 years or 3 years or whatever it was that started, if pharmaceutical companies can do that, why isn't that a permanent thing? Why isn't the legislature, Congress, making that law? Hey, we're not raising these things. People have to survive and have backup plans for when the recessions do.
Okay, I'm on a live show.
Because all they're seeing is politicians, living high on the hog, while everybody else is trying to figure out where to get baby formula from.
Right.
To feed their babies.
Well, and
that one driver's only eating once a day. I mean, there's no driver that should be only eating once a day.
I agree. And like I said, I actually reached out to that gentleman privately over that situation. But it just, like I said, it's just one story in a bucket, of stories and how people are affected. And yeah, there's so much that we could talk about. But Pat, I'm going to drop you off. I'm going to see if anybody else wants to call in, just because we're trying this cool new, gadget that I played with tonight. And
I'm honored that I was the first live call-in caller.
I am too.
And nobody can take that from me. And
Right.
with that, my out would be, let's go, Brandon.
Thank you for calling in. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk more later. So this is kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is kind of cool. We may set that up for future shows that people can call in. If you've got a story, Giggler, I've been putting up your comments about your mom and dad, and that they're on a fixed income and that they're having to figure out what they can afford. And I think there are so many families in that situation. It's not just in the trucking industry. But because we are in the trucking industry, what I want to talk about is for people who are in these situations in life, whether you're dealing with COVID stuff, whether you're dealing with, industry inflation, whether you're dealing with life inflation, whether you're dealing with struggles of any kind that are calling. I'm putting up comments. So shush. I'm not seeing them all maybe, but I am trying to put them all up. So, anywho, whether we're dealing with stress on a daily basis for whatever reason, okay, this is the message I really, really, really want to get out there today, guys. Okay, I need you to hear me for a minute. I need you to breathe. Should we all woosah and do some breathing exercises together? And there's 2 people I'm talking to on my chat right now. Do some breathing. We've got to survive. We've got to survive this. We've got to survive together. Okay. I wrote down a couple things that I found online about how to survive and possibly even thrive. Okay. During turbulent times, whatever the turbulent times may be. Okay. They're great pieces of information, great advice for daily stress, whether it's regarding your industry in trucking, your business, or just personal. Hi, Valerie. Doing so good. So for those who came in late, this is Brooklyn. I hijacked my little brother's back office production station, gave him the night off. I'm sure he's still watching and critiquing, or will later. So just saying. And I'm just like playing with all the gadgets, right? So I'm so good, Valerie. Thank you so much. Anyway, so anybody who came in late, that's what we're doing. We're just talking today, tonight, and I'm going through some different things. Thank you, Valerie. Miss you so much. God bless you too, honey. And Lance, you're not wrong. It comes down sometimes to feeding your family. Okay. I want to say this, guys. Give me a minute to just go through this little list real quick. I'm going to look over here to the left to do that. Surviving during turbulent times. Number 1, stay calm. It's all going to work out one way or the other, guys. Whether we lose our business, go through hard times, have to move, it will work out at the end. We got to breathe and we got to stay calm through it. I know that that's easier said than done, but let's try it. Okay. It'll all work out in the wash. We need to try to keep that anxiety lower. Different things you can do. You all know this. I'm just going to go through it real quick. Okay. So sorry, I was going to go back through a couple comments. Keeping your anxiety low, avoid some caffeine. If you're high anxiety that day, stay away from the Red Bulls, stay away from the monsters. Okay. Practice your breathing, go for a walk. At the end of the day, you've been driving your truck and you are just road rage, whatever. Get your ass out of the truck, go walk around the parking lot without your freaking phone. Okay. Or with your phone and listening to some music. So those are a couple things. Take everything day by day, you guys. Try not to solve all the world's problems that minute. Okay. It's going to take time. It's going to take time to work through things. You don't have to tackle all of those issues in one day. Okay. Take it day by day. Write down the things. Now, that may seem kind of crazy, but it works for several reasons. Let me explain. Write down what's happening in the situation. So if we're talking the trucking industry, I'm going to tell you right now, if you own your own business in the trucking industry, you better be figuring out what to do for your business. So I'm going to tell you right now, we personally have had to recalculate that threshold of how much we will take per mile to continue to be able to do business. And that's something you're having to calculate on a regular basis. You can't go by the number you used 2 years ago. You can't use that number. You'll be out of business in no time. So you're having to constantly compensate for the price of inflation, the price of fuel. So you better be writing that stuff down. You better be knowing your business. Don't put your head in the sand. Write it down. That doesn't mean obsess over it, right? That means write it down. Know what's happening, right? Sorry, guys, trying to keep up with all the things. Keep yourself around positive and good people. I can't say that enough. Some of us deal with anxiety differently. I love my husband. You all have had, most of you have had the pleasure of Johnny's road rage. Okay. I'm going to tell you, when his anxiety is high, for whatever reason, if it's trucking related or just he's had a bad day for whatever reason, his road rage is out of freaking control. And me living in the truck with him while he's road raging, Heather knows what I'm talking about. That's all I'm going to say. So keeping yourself around positive and good people. Sometimes our husbands need a reminder that we don't need to hear the negative and the bitch sessions all the time. It gets old. Just saying. Love you, honey. Okay. Keep moving. Don't stick your head in the frickin' sand and stay inside your house. Avoid talking to your friends and family. Don't do it. Depression and anxiety will kick in so fast. Keep yourself involved. Keep yourself moving forward. Okay. Don't put too much emphasis on one area of your life. You got to find that balance. I mean, and that is advice from everybody, right? Is finding balance, and as we get older, some of you youngins, Amber, you're probably like, balance what? Suck it, and it's so important to find that balance. That's where your peace and your inner peace comes from, is when you can better balance your life, better balance your anxiety and your stress. And like I said, with everything happening in the world, I think that's so important to remember. Okay. Right. Turn to gratitude. Okay. I want to say this, we heard a couple stories. I just had to use you as an example, sweetheart. So, we hear a couple stories probably, weekly out on the road when we're just talking to other drivers of people who are in a total different ball game than we are. Use those moments to humble yourself. You know what I'm saying? And to find some gratitude. It could be worse. And I'm just going to throw that out there, that there are so many situations it could be worse, so that will help keep your own stress level down, is if you can find that gratitude in your heart, if you can remember that you are blessed in so many ways. That's just my personal opinion. And I want to say this before I go on with the rest of this show, you guys. We have a little thingy that runs at the front introduction, and it says something to the effect of, all the opinions herein, are the people speaking, not Trucking Life is the company. I want to reiterate that. I may be the CEO and founder of Trucking Life, you guys. These are Brooke's opinions. We have a board of directors that makes policy regarding business and what we put out there as far as opinions. Okay. From a business perspective. These are Brooke. You're talking to Brooklyn face to face tonight. These are my personal opinions, and that's important because of what's coming up in the show. Okay. Don't let yourself be a victim. I mean, I can't say that. Oh, you guys are sweet. If the wheels aren't turning, you aren't making money. That's dependent. Right now, I will say, Lance, that the place to be in the trucking industry would be as an as a company driver versus an owner operator right now. Just because the company, if it's a stable company and a financially solid company, they're going to be able to take this hit and ride the turbulence a whole lot easier than an independent owner operator or a little teeny company. They just don't have the capital to survive. And we've talked about that in previous shows. I'll touch on it real quick before I finish up my other little thought. Is just that the capital it takes. So a lot of times you have 90 days before you get paid on a invoice or a bill of lading that you're billing your customer for. So as an example, the trucking company that we are leased onto, we haul for the airlines, for a couple of airline carriers. And so once we complete the run, we turn the bill of lading over to the airline, and it's sometimes 90 days. It's a net 90 agreement before we get paid. And so the owner of the company that we're leased onto, he has to carry, now consider this, he's got a fleet of 42 trucks. He's got to carry a fuel card balance of, I just told you that our fuel bill for last week was $2,300, almost $2,300 for last week. And that was a short week. That wasn't a high week. Okay. He's got 42 trucks that are possibly fueling that same amount. So when you do the math, that's 80,000 plus a week in fuel that he's got to carry for 90 days, you guys. If you don't have serious capital, cash capital, the rubber meets the road. It's going to make or break some people. That's what it boils down to. So the wheels turning, that's not necessarily true at this point. The situation's a little bit tricky for sure. Last thing on trying to survive and even thrive during turbulent times is look for the positive, you guys. We talked about gratitude and not letting yourself be a victim. Know your industry, know what's happening with your bills. If you're in a situation where you're on a fixed income or you are experiencing that the ends aren't meeting, that you don't have enough income to supply the outgo, make payment arrangements. You guys, don't stop communicating with people. That's basic knowledge. Don't be afraid to do that. Stay involved in your own life. Be the master of your own destiny. And I know you all know this already, but I just want to throw that out there as a personal reminder because I love you. You know what I mean? And we can all use those personal reminders about that there is somebody that loves and cares and is going to give you the hard facts and the hard reminders and the hard advice. You know what I mean? Don't stick your head in the sand. Don't be a victim, even in an ugly, turbulent economy right now. Just don't do it. So there's that. Love you. Okay. So one last thing I want to talk about is here at Trucking Life. And again, this is my personal opinion, but it is something we've also implemented as a company, okay, is that all opinions matter, and we are out here trying to make a difference for the individual. And so you can't, with that attitude and with that attempt, what we're trying to do, right? We can't say that we're going to side with one person and not the other. We can't say you pissed me off, you know what I mean, because of your opinion or behavior. That's being very hypocritical, right? So what I want to talk about, I want to go back to tolerance. We talked about tolerance in the trucking industry. I want to talk for just a second about tolerance in our personal lives, you guys. From a trucking perspective, are we being tolerant of the other people on the road. Johnny Dean. No, just kidding. Totally, he's going to kill me. But no, seriously, we don't know why that person was not paying attention. We don't know if they got a crazy phone call. We don't know. You know what I mean? We can't sit here and say that we know what every person who comes into our life. Hey, shish. We can't say that we know what they're going through. We can't say that we completely understand their situation. We're not them. That's the way it is. So what I'm asking is for us to do a check, a self-check on how tolerant we are of other people's opinions, how tolerant we are of other people's behaviors, how tolerant we are of other people's lifestyles. I'm just going to say it like it is. We partnered with Margaret DeBelot to produce a video called Truckers Are Humans. Most of you have seen it. And the whole thing about that is that we're trying to get out to the world that we're normal human beings and that we are trying to affect change in our industry and be recognized as people who deserve clean restrooms, as people who deserve restrooms to have when they have places to park. All these different things, right? There's agendas right there, obviously. But part of that, the basic part of that, is recognizing people as humans. And we can't sit here and put out a video, right? And partner and say, we want to be recognized as humans, and then not treat each other that way internally and in our daily lives. We can't do it. That's full-blown hypocritical. What I'm asking is, as we go through our daily lives, that we think before we speak, that we empathize, that we try to communicate to understand the other person we're communicating with versus waiting to respond so that we can be understood. With that, we've got an awesome show coming up on Sunday. Ed's going to be our host. Chris Cornelius is going to be our co-host. Some people in the trucking industry who are excited to just share their stories. They're going to be on with us on Sunday. I'm so excited for what they're doing. I'm so excited for the show we have coming the following Sunday, which is military veterans who have transitioned into trucking. So we've got 2 great Sundays back to back, awesome shows coming up for you. And I can't wait for you to be involved in these stories with us. Get to know some of the people who are out here on the road, the things that are happening in their lives, what brought them into trucking, how trucking is treating them and their lives and their experiences. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for you guys to be there with us during those conversations. I'm way excited. What? Coco Crop Happy in the house. I cannot wait. I'm not going to lie. So that's what I know, you guys. You know, Mama Brooklyn kind of came out today. There's some things going on that obviously perpetuated my thought process. And I just want all of you to know that it's so important that we make great memories in this life, you guys. It's so important that we develop and groom and really strengthen the relationships. Things don't matter. Fuel doesn't matter. It does in our day-to-day. But in the end, that shit does not matter. What matters is how you and I treat each other. What matters is whether or not the guy walking on the fuel island that looks like he's just flat pissed off. What matters is that you say, hey, I hope you're having a great day. What matters is the girl that's struggling to close her doors, because she's too short, messy. Go over and give her a hand, be the person you would want to help you or interact with you. Be the example, be the change, you guys. Be the change. So with that, I love you all so much. I'll cry if I think about it too much, but I truly do. And when we do shows here at Trucking Life that are a little deeper, a little bit more into personal topics, it's because we're just trying to educate the world about the life of a trucker, what we go through on a daily basis. And I'm so grateful that you guys come and hang out with us and listen to us talk about these stories. So with that, I want to, oh, I love you so much, Heather. I want to run as our closing segment. I didn't do credits. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do the coffee cup. Angela's going to kill me. We're going to run the Truckers Are Human video, guys. That's our closing. I really want you to think about the messages in this video, you guys. If you've never seen it before, please watch it with us. If you have seen it before, please watch it again. Anyway, love you all so much. Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Ed and Coco Crop Happy, you better be here. That's all I'm saying, because you're going to love their show. And then I'm not sure who's next Wednesday. And then the following Sunday, military vets transitioning into trucking. And I think Missy is the one. No coffee cup. What? Sorry. I think Missy's hosting next Sunday, but I'm not positive about that. So one of us will be hosting that amazing show as well. But anyway, love you all. Love you, Jane. And I do want to do a shout out to Jane and Christopher, Jane Furtwängler and Christopher Shondurum. They're helping us do some of our research on the background. So as always, you'll see them in our credits. And that's because they're amazing people. And we like to recognize them for the help that they give us here at Trucking Life. So anyway, with that said, you guys, okay, I'll see if I can figure out all the things here. Watch this video. Love you all. Have a wonderful night. We'll talk soon. Okay, I got to figure out how to do this.
Margaret DeBelot, aka That Trucking Chick, and founder of the hashtag Change the World movement, partnering with Trucking Life Incorporated, proudly present to you the hashtag Truckers Are Humans. We have always been your essential workers, transporting all your goods, fruits, vegetables, eggs, milk, all your mail, medical supplies, and any ordered products are moved by us. We work 14-hour days, 70 hours a week, driving hundreds of miles a day. Whether we're sick, hurt, or tired, we roll. Sleeping wherever we can find a place to park, whether it's safe or not. Driving as far as our logs will allow us to. Eating whatever is available, if anything. Resting in our trucks on our small bunks in freezing weather, waiting for hours at a time to pick up and drop off your merchandise. Enduring long, dark highways, slick, snowy roads, and all those rush hours and traffic jams that you hate, we live in every single day. Missing our families and only seeing them a few days a month. Why do we subject ourselves to all of this? We drive for them. We drive for you. We drive for our country. As you venture out into the world and interact with us on these roads, highways, and interstates, give us a smile, extend a hello, get to know us and our trucking life. So please remember, we are humans just like you, not machines. We want life, liberty, and freedom like any other Americans would. We are human. We are truckers. We change the world for you.